Let me tell you what styling
The
is.
pastor's kid is always like the one that want to drink and want to do this and want to party and go crazy and go nuts because they feel so sheltered. Did you have that kind of experience growing up?
I had my rebellious stage, but the thing about it, my parents the they weren't the type of parents that forced God on me. I have to be honest, they weren't
Mm.
like that. However, it was more so the people around, like the church people and family members and just different people around me that made me feel more so like I had to be a certain way. It wasn't necessarily my parents, like I had no choice. I had to go to church.
Yeah.
That, like, but they were more so, it wasn't like forced in like Jesus down your throat. It was more so like pause. It was more so like it was more so like I encourage you to do this because it works. So I think that's why I turned out the way I did,
Mm.
because we weren't so like forceful, when it came to God. But like I said, like the people around you and even being in church,
Hmm.
they're always, even now, like I can't post everything. I can't, and I get it. You have to be an example. That's what it is. Like you
Yeah.
have to, because I am a Christian, and I do want to live my truth, and also I want people, whatever I'm saying and whatever I'm telling you to do, I want people to relate to that. And
Okay.
you don't want to say something and you're not living a certain way. Like I want to change the narrative when it comes to Christians, because there's a lot of Christians out there that are saying certain things, preaching certain things, but they have a completely totally different lifestyle. Like for me, I don't want you to catch me like, oh, how you saying this and you're not living that. So I get that. I completely get that. A lot of Christians are judgmental. A lot of them are just, I get, like, this is why people don't go to church. This is why people run away from God. So I guess I was at a point where I wanted to experience God for myself, and I wanted to know Him for myself, and not know Him from what was being taught to me, not know Him from what people were saying, but for me. So that's why I've come to the point where, like, okay, I experienced God for myself. I got a chance to know Him for myself. Okay, I know He
Mm.
real.
You have no idea the joy, no pun intended, that you give me by saying those things, because those are kind of my that's my reluctance feeling about certain things, because when I hear certain words I do get the like, they may be judgmental, they like I feel that way. So you put it perfectly, like it wasn't forced upon you. You didn't have to be a certain way, you didn't have to live up to a certain thing, and but you also notice that that's why people do run away, because they feel like they have to be at this level, this stature of being and existing in the right, and like some people feel like there's a right and wrong way to do things when sometimes it's really not that way. So I do, and it's funny, like I mentioned, my best friend is a pastor's kid, and I forget that sometimes because it's not really just pushed upon you. Like they live that life and live that world, and it's always cool. Never been anything like super hypocritical, but that is a big thing that I think turns people off, is just the relationship of just like having to be a certain way. And so I appreciate that you coming from that standpoint already.
Yeah, no. Like I talk to so many. I have friends that are not Christian. Some of them are Muslims, some of them are considered, I even I worked with someone that was like an atheist, and
Uh-huh.
she was cool with me. But the thing about it is, I tell people, um if you're so perfect, why do you need God? You know what I mean? Like if you as a person are supposed to have your life, why do we need God? So I feel like, I make it my business to make sure that I change it. I change that narrative, because I know that's how I felt being a Christian, that I had to be a certain way, and that's why I did run away. That's why I didn't want anything to do with God until I asked Him myself, like, "Hey, I know this is what I was taught all my life, but I need to know if you were for myself. Like, I want to experience you, you know, for me, not for anybody else." So, I feel like you still should love people, even if they choose even if they choose, not to believe in what you believe in, you shouldn't treat people a certain way. People make certain choices. God is love, and I had to, because I'm his daughter, I want to show that too. God graces us all the time. So why not? Why, if he has grace, why am I out here treating people rude and making them feel bad for the decisions that they made? So I try to be that. I try to spread love. I may not agree with everything you do, but I still love you. I'm
Of
still here,
course.
to bring that positive energy.
I'm gonna ask you a maybe hard question. Where did you run to in terms of just like kind of turning your back?
Like I felt like it was people, it was God, men, and even like so-called friends. I was a follower. Like I did
Mm,
whatever, that would give me that attention. Whatever. And I'm the middle child. So I
okay.
already had that little.
You already had that tug of war kind of thing going on.
Yeah, like
Mm.
I was that child that needed a little bit more attention. I'm not even gonna lie. So my parents were busy with the church, busy with, like they're entrepreneurs too. So they were just very busy people. So I was that child that probably needed a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I don't know you to that degree, so I'm not gonna say like you were a wayward child. But like, what was the moment where you're like, man, this doesn't feel right. I gotta come back on the other side.
Yeah. So for me, I used to struggle with really bad depression. I was
Mm.
really, really like my mental, it wasn't, it was not good. And I would anything somebody would say about me, I would believe it. Like
Really?
really, yes. And like people would see me, I would smile and go home and be in tears, like really, really insecure. I was very insecure growing up.
About what in particular, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, about the way I looked, about my everything about me. I didn't feel confident at all about my singing. I didn't want to sing. Like it was bad. And I would struggle with suicidal thoughts. A lot of
Mm.
people don't, yeah, a lot of people they see me and they talk to me like, what? But it's truth. They thought because I was smiling, because I was happy, I wasn't struggling. So nobody would really check in on me and make sure I was good when deep down I needed help. So for me, I knew that it all I knew was to run to God, because it's like I knew no human being, nobody was helping me before. So I was like, yo, God, if you real, like like they saying, or like you claim to be real, I need you to show me. And I don't want to experience you in church. I want to experience you outside. I want to experience you outside of church. I want to, you know. So I remember having an encounter with God in my room. Nobody was there. It was just me. And literally, I felt like God's presence come in my room. It felt like an overwhelming love. Like I can't explain it. It's something that you just can't explain. You just got to experience it. And that's how I knew he was real. Because of that. And from that day, I stopped struggling with those the suicidal thoughts and depression, different things like that. So I'm always trying to check in on people, and like I said, spread that love, that joy, because a lot of people are struggling with mental, you know